Hey, we're live.
What
Welcome
is
back. Welcome back. Welcome to another episode of Building Wealth and Health with
Yes.
Dr. Matt.
Welcome. How's it going,
We
my
have
friend?
it's going all right. Another later edition of this one.
Yep.
Just finished some dinner. I'm nice and full.
Good.
Hopefully sharp. And
Sharp.
I've got some coconut pineapple smoothie stuff I'm drinking. So
Nice.
I don't know. There's benefits to that, I'm sure. What up, Yee? Welcome to the
Yee.
show.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, so here we are. How was your day?
Good. Yeah. Good. Just had a lot moving, a lot of things happening. So
You have a bunch of patients today?
today is the day I'm at Quicksilver doing consulting. So yeah, that was a lot. We had had some consults with other docs, had some other projects they got me working on, and then we did a webinar on some stuff. So
Nice.
that's why I'm here late, because the webinar was at 5. So, but
That's what you're sticking to, at least.
that's the excuse I'm gonna stick to.
Yee, you know what? I'm actually proud of this guy. He's got some good history, but he's working hard on his health for sure.
Oh, look at this.
I appreciate that he recognizes at a young age to stay with it, because it's utterly important. As I woke up this morning and got out of bed and stood up, and my left knee literally felt like someone was stabbing me through the middle of it. I'm actually really glad I got that massage gun that my massage therapist, Amy Mack, recommended. Matt knows Amy too.
Yeah.
That got me out the door this morning. So yeah, it's important, man. Cold showers.
Love it.
Especially when it's 90 degrees. I can't even imagine how hot it is. He's in Texas, I think. Yeah, Texas. I can't even imagine how hot it is there now. But yeah, cold showers, man.
16-hour fast. That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. Boy. Keep it up, bud. That way, if you keep it up and you're not stupid, well, okay. Keep it up and you don't make too many stupid decisions. You'll be in better shape than me. You'll be surviving better than me. Just take care of your knees, because they're not designed well to begin with. They really aren't. I mean, they're not a good design. Take care of your knees. What up, Wolf? How are you, sir?
Hey, Wolf.
Good to see ya. Welcome back. Isn't coconut good for ligaments or pineapple? One of the two.
Pineapple.
Yeah.
Pineapple's got something called bromelain in it. Bromelain is an enzyme, and it's super useful for inflammation and pain and things like that. I don't know how much you get from pineapple, just eating some, but yeah, you get some, which
there's a whole, I mixed it up, and Katrina had some. We had a little Dole can of it, but it's like the pulpy, like the real fruit stuff.
Okay.
Got lots of chunky stuff in it anyway.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, dude, you have some stories, man. Send me some more of those videos, man. I want to see some more of those videos when you're in service. That stuff is nuts.
Jumping out of planes,
just doing the dirty. Mm-hmm. I watched one video where they were driving a tank and they were just singing songs, and I don't know if I was cut out for that.
Yeah, good on you, man.
Yeah, appreciate your service, by the way, man. I really do.
For sure.
Really do. Oh, what did the market do today? I didn't get to watch much of it. I bought another AMC call. I YOLO'd a weekly, and I checked earnings after hours. But
yeah,
it sounds like we got GameStop's got an offering happening. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I'm late to the game on trying to get caught up on the market today, but
yeah,
sounds like we could get diluted here a little bit if you guys are holding shares. Keep that in mind. I don't have much left, but I may liquidate tomorrow morning, depending on which way we go. I should have sold the rest of them at like 310 when it ran back up, but you It's all right. It's all right. Yes, sir. UWMC. Dr. Matt, did you get some UWM? I think you did buy some, right? Yep. Yeah, that thing's getting some steam. I think we're in the midst of this whole debacle with this giant market Ponzi scheme. And I think they're just
such a Ponzi scheme.
Dude, it's just like hop from one to the other and
move it around, short this, short.
It's just trying to outsmart everybody. And the thing is, usually these guys will outsmart everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, like I was telling somebody the other day, I'm like, every Ponzi scheme ends with a bang. It can't keep up forever.
No.
Somebody ends up losing really bad.
Right.
And it's not just the people that got screwed on it either. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're finally green on UW. Where were you buying it at, man? You must have been buying it when Josh was buying it. Should have been buying it when LT was buying it. I think my basis is like, well, I've been averaging up though. I think I'm at like a little over 9 now. I might be a little over 9 now, actually. I was in at like 7. So I'm doing all right on UNMC. I should have bought more, but you know what? Build it slow.
Yeah.
Build it slow. Keep that cash balance in check. Pay attention, and patience is key when you're trying to invest.
Yeah, for sure.
It's key. You want to balance everything out. You want to make sure you're diligent with your monthly investments, how much is going in, and it's every month. Don't skip a month. It's really hard when we want to go, pick up on something like, ooh, I really could use a new mountain bike.
Yeah.
Or Dr. Matt. I know Dr. Matt wants some new golf clubs. Ooh,
yeah.
New driver would be nice. But instead of $200 on the driver, I could put it in the market. I could invest in a Roth. These are all the big boy and big girl decisions we have to make now, right? But that's all part of building it, man. You just got to be diligent, and you got to be patient. And you guys sitting in here know, Wolf knows, Yee knows. You got to build that up.
Yeah.
Don't get loosey goosey with it, but you want to make sure that you're building that. And I think the key that I was like, I guess if we get into this, the key that I was thinking about today, really, because I was down on a job site in Castle Rock, which is about an hour from my house. And I can't, obviously I'm not going to be right in front of a computer all day trading or doing anything else. When I'm on a job site, I can have my laptop, but I was literally, belt and suspenders today. So I was working what do we call my main job, I guess, but I've got a lot of other investment stuff that's sitting there making me money during the day. And that's the key, is creating that passive income stream. And it's not just about one or two. You need to have multiple income streams. And the key is passive, meaning it's making you money if you're not working. Like you're not in front of it directly. It's an indirect income stream. And that's how you start creating this thing they call wealth. It's you got to be really diverse in those different streams for sure. And that's something that I learned very early on as a kid, but then I really got away from it. And you watch that deplete. I mean, it's really interesting when things happen in life. You can. Dr. Matt's been there too. You go up and down with your income. You invest in things. You liquidate stuff. Something happens health wise. You got to pay for. Your car breaks down. You got to buy a new one. You take some of that money, invest in real estate, but liquid cash goes away. There's all kinds of things. You have kids, man. I can tell you, I love my kids, but they're hella expensive. Especially now, they just don't stop eating. Just you have these things. Yeah, trust me. Well, and they want to hey, Dad, can I make some more money today? Can I wash your truck? Like, yeah, sure. Well, wait a second. That's me paying you. It's building his income or her income stream. Right. I'm taking away from mine, right? It's emptying my pocket.
They got the hustle going.
But they've got to start somewhere. And I'd rather pay them to clean my truck than somebody else, but
totally,
it doesn't get done in a timely manner. Anyway, when you're out doing these things, they have to, that stuff's creating wealth for you. It's building income. It's growing your money. And that's like we're talking about. We're talking about, don't talk to me about EasyGo, by the way, junk. There you can make bad decisions in investments too. I think we all got bamboozled on that one. We'll see. I have a feeling, based on the numbers I'm looking at, it looks like EasyGo's in this mix of memes.
Yeah,
there's money being reallocated towards that, so I don't know what's going to happen. But right now, I'm like 30% down on EasyGo.
Whoa, yeah,
it's not pretty. But you know what? That's why you have multiple income streams.
That's right.
My other passive income's doing just fine.
Right.
And my big thing is, as I harp on real estate, that's a big one for me. I'm going to always talk about that. I think stock market, establishing a long-term. We always talk about establishing a long-term investment portfolio, and it's not buying crap like EasyGo. It's buying stocks that are going to be around for a long time. It's buying stuff that you use.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, just like other people we know that have talked about it, you want to have it paying you a dividend if possible.
Yeah.
But you want to be wary of how much they're paying in that dividend. You want to watch on that.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to be able to, you're investing in that company. That's what you're doing. You're buying into the company. And that's what a share of a stock is, right? But you're an investor for that company, so they can go raise capital to go do other things or pay off, high interest debt. That's what the point of them going public really is.
Right.
It's
a good point. People kind of forget that, I think, sometimes, huh? Like, what?
And that's what it's all about,
Yeah.
right? So if they're not returning your investment in a quarterly, monthly, yearly fashion, I kind of get a little eerie of some of that. You got to be careful.
What are they doing with your money?
Where's that going? If my stock is going up, it's one thing, but
right.
If I don't ever see a dividend and they've been around a long time, or if they take it away, like we saw in the last year and a half, a lot of companies actually remove their dividend, at least temporarily. Some of it for transitory, issues, but I think that stuff's becoming more than transitory at this point. It's
right.
They're realizing how they're inflating their own pocketbook.
We don't have to pay. We don't have to pay a dividend.
We don't have to pay a dividend. People will still keep buying shares of our company. Oh, well, wait a second.
I don't know. Why would I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wolf says 80% growth, 20% divvy. Yeah. I mean, it's all, that's what I'm talking about. All of it's about balance. It's not, balancing in your portfolio for the stock market, balancing your real estate endeavors, right?
Yeah.
You want to, if you have some Airbnbs, you better have some long-term rentals too. You want to have, even on the commercial side, you want to have stuff that's, that's going to make you money. It's diversified in that arena. Just diving into one thing over another doesn't make sense either. And that's all part of the blueprint to building that money. Giant playing with my EasyGo. Just need the stock above 6 to make profit. I think I need it above. Where am I in EasyGo? I think I'm even higher than that. A few hundred shares for free. I got a bunch of stock that's garbage stock that we did in the last 6 or 8 months that I bought and I made it all free after we made profit on it. And now I got to figure out what the hell I'm going to do with it, because it's not going anywhere. Right. And this is all, I'm giving all the really bad advice right now to get it out of the way, I guess. But I can use that and turn it into something else. If I sell it, it's technically for a loss, but it's not, because it's already been paid for.
Right.
My basis is over. So, I don't know.
Well, it's not doing you any good. You might as well.
It's just sitting there. It's not gonna move unless I can get Melvin and Citadel involved somehow to get those boys in some of these.
Start to do some shorting.
Will you short the crap? Actually, I know they have on one, and I'm just waiting on that one.
Oh, man.
All the arrows point to wait on that, but EasyGo, I have a feeling it's part of this charade too. I mean, it's definitely. I'm pretty convinced it is. I don't know if you, like Wolf and me, if they've looked at those numbers, but I'm waiting for that one to blow up so I can get the hell out of it. EasyGo, the company EasyGo. What do you know EasyGo from, Dr. Matt? What are they? Well, they've been in business in another arena for a long time.
Yeah, I don't know.
Come on, think really hard. We just talked about this. They're involved in a sport.
Oh yeah, we did talk about this. I don't remember what we were talking about.
Think about the thing you really wanted to do more than anything on a golf course. Instead of actually playing golf, what did you want to do?
On a golf course,
instead
of playing golf.
Give you a hint. It has to do with batteries, because that's what they're into now. Their technology.
Of course, yeah. Golf carts. Yeah, driving fast. yeah.
Driving fast, hitting trees. Yep.
That's right. Take the governors off and yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah, E-Z-GO, of course, golf carts. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the electric bike thing is going to be big deal. The biggest thing with electric bikes and e-bikes is when I started kind of getting interested when they got into the mountain bike community, right?
Yeah.
And that's when it started kind of taking off because you had a bigger demographic. I think at their point was there a bigger demographic of people getting back into the sport, meaning people over a certain age.
Right.
Where they're like, oh, I want to go ride some of this stuff, but I don't think I'm in shape enough, or I'm too old. And it's brought a lot of people back into the sport. And then a lot of it's just for touring and getting places now, especially like in Europe.
Yeah.
Everybody's riding electric bikes. These things are actually pretty cool. I was really like upside down on them for a while. I thought it was like, this is a joke. Stay off my damn trails. It's like, I had a few friends, our age.
You're like all purist about biking. And
our buddy Colin got one. And I was like, you're a little puss, man. You need to keep up with me. Why don't you just get in better shape? As we talk about health. It was like, no. But you know what? It gets him back out there. He has a hell of a lot of fun. And these things are just totally set up like a fantastic enduro bike. So they're dialed in. And then they have all this, like these trail and tour bikes and everything. So once I found out E-Z-GO was kind of like in that technology realm with like working on the battery technology for these things.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, this is an industry I want to be part of. And I probably overpaid because I got in not at IPO, but I got in shortly after that.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And it hasn't ever been back. What did E-Z-GO close at today? I don't even know. Actually, I guess I could pull my phone up and look. But raising chickens are a type of animal to get extra income. My neighbor does that next door. You eat.
Yeah, it's pretty popular around here.
Yep, a lot of people do that.
People do it. Yeah, I don't know if they do it for extra income per se, but
probably about 50% of them that I know probably do.
You think?
Yep,
selling eggs.
Yep,
mostly the eggs. Yeah, I know. I
mean,
eggs. Obviously, how many chickens you have, how many eggs you get, but
bacon. I mean,
yeah. Wow.
I don't know how they're killing the pigs, but
are people raising pigs right around you? Nobody's raising.
Out in Erie, they are. I know some people that are doing that.
Yeah, I guess on some farms and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but they're not like farmers. They just have a lot of land.
Yeah, just
where they can do that. They don't really do that as like their main income.
Right. Yeah, it's a lot of work, man, to have that kind of thing. You gotta. But I do, to your point, man. I think there's some really, really good benefits to knowing that kind of stuff and understanding it. I mean, I've never done it, but I respect people that do. We're kind of detached from our food. What do you mean bacon doesn't come in a plastic package on the refrigerator aisle, right?
Wait, it does though. I'm pretty sure it does.
Well, it does, but I mean, prior to that, where does it, but yeah, I mean, I think that's a really useful skill to have or knowledge to have. And
yeah,
a lot of people just don't have it.
I think it's a good thing to do. That's one of like that's one of the things I tell people to do is you could literally just, sell eggs. I mean, it doesn't take much work.
That doesn't. Yeah. It's a good point. Yeah. I mean, diversify, find different things, bring in money. I mean, it doesn't have to be, it can be all kinds of things, right? So,
yeah, I mean, at some point we're sitting here we'll make money off YouTube and Instagram and, some of the stuff that I do actually isn't, I mean, at some point it'll create more income too, but it actually puts my face out there to find other ways to make money. It's not just like someone calling me saying, hey, I saw you on one of your YouTube videos.
Right.
Can you come build this for me? And it's more like, hey, can you, I saw you on YouTube, loved your videos, that there's like some clout behind it. You come highly recommended. And I would like some consulting work. Like that's what I've gotten into a lot in the last year is people want me to come look at things, especially with all the DIY craze that's happening where people think they can do everything. Right. I don't mind taking money and telling them how to do it and then walk away and then they can fiddle with it. And, but it's another way that's like, it's an indirect method of creating another income stream. Right.
Yeah. Well, I think, you and I talked about this quite often, I think, and it's really, I think really relevant to what we're talking about right now is just sort of this idea of of moving your energy into different things, right? Like just like move forward, do something, you know. I mean, like right now, you know, doing this for us is not, you know, huge at the moment. I mean, we're doing three of them, four of them.
Four. Yep.
Yeah.
That's number 4, I think.
It's fine. You know, we're not expecting that, but you know, it's just the sheer act of doing this, you know, that I think is so important for us. And, you know, I think in this context of building streams of income, or just, you know, it's all like foundational work. It's like kind of laying down kind of your where you're going to stand, you know, and move forward from.
Yeah. And it helps you stay in that energy path of moving forward and like creating this positive motion. We're not getting stagnant, but it also helps give you ideas and like different ways of creating these income streams, you know, more directly.
Right.
But it's always given me ideas, and you know, I've always liked doing editing and film stuff. But it was never going to be my career. You know, I'm not going to go out and make movies with it, but the stuff that I learned and was taught and taught myself got me into the point where like people were like, you need to be on TV, you need to be doing these things. And I'm like, I want nothing to do with that. But once I did a few videos and it was like, oh, but this is a way to help me create grow businesses. I'm like, well, this is something different. I didn't think about it that way.
Right.
And suddenly there's another idea of another way of creating income.
Right.
So
it's just doing it. Just keep in the engagement of the energy, right? Like let it just start moving and let it unfold however it's going to unfold, right? And whatever that brings. You know, I think it's really easy when you're starting off in any sort of business to just sort of look to immediate results or immediate you know, verification for things. And I think so much of the time it's not there at the beginning.
Yep.
Which is hard, you know? I mean,
it is hard.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys, Shannon and I have known each other since we were like 12 years old and have done lots of things together over the years and tried and failed at certain things, and
failure is part of the game.
You know, it was not fun at the time, but you know, it was important stuff, and you know, grateful for all of the experiences that it was, right? But you know, I look back sometimes, I'm like, wow, like we tried. And that's the thing I think that he and I have always connected on, is just like, we don't ever quit.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you can't. I mean, you can't.
Well, we may not always do it well, or we may not always agree or whatever. Right. But we keep going, and we just, you know, we adjust and move, and I can see it now. It's really bearing fruit in our lives, you know, down, you know, 15, 20 years later, maybe, right, man? But
it just doesn't matter. You just gotta,
right?
It doesn't matter. You got to keep with it. You got to keep with it.
Yeah.
Wolf. Yes. My brother actually does that on the side. So my brother actually works for, the city government in a town about 30 minutes from us. But he got his degree in all kinds of different plant stuff. And he'd answer any question you'd ever know about anything that has to do with foliage of any kind. He does like his shall we call them, recreational items that come with that. But he's also learned how to do like hydroponic type stuff, just, you know, throughout school and there's on his own. And he actually has my brother needs to be pushed. But he does have an income stream that's from hydroponics for sure too.
That's cool.
Growing all kinds of stuff, not just for his own family, like, you know, foods and stuff, but also for other people.
Yeah.
And he's done it. Like he started out where people asked him for it, and he would do it, and he'd come get some stuff, and they would give him money, and he would say, no. I'm like, what in the hell is wrong with you? These people are wanting to give you money for something you're working on. Like, he's like, well, this is part of what I do anyway. No, not all this. This has nothing to do with your house.
Yeah.
So it's a great idea to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, whatever you love doing, you know, I think
high demand.
Really, you know, what you love doing and how you know, best feel like you're contributing to yourself and the world, you know, like do it, you know, see what happens. Worst thing happens, it doesn't work. And then you just find something else that, you know,
it always leads to something.
It does.
And it feels like sometimes it'll feel like, it was a complete waste of time. And I spent all this money and all this time and dedicated all this energy to it. And then nothing came of it. And I just dump it in the trash can. And then you realize a week later, 3 months later, a year later, even longer.
Yeah.
That actually worked out really well. And I'm glad I learned all those things, because guess what I'm applying it to now? I mean, that's happened to me recently even. So
has it? Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing. I mean, it's just like meeting people. It's the same thing.
Right.
You're constantly talking to people, just even in line in the store. That's another way to, people talk about building wealth and income, meeting the right people and connecting with the right people. It leads to very good opportunities.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, both of us wouldn't be where we are without the connections and communication that we've had with different people over the years. Yeah. That's a great point. Yeah.
Yeah. I need my camera like to face here, because I have to look at this and I feel like I'm doing the squeaky chair dance. Yeah. Oh, here's another way. Here's another way to build wealth that I was being made. I've always been made fun of for one thing or another. That has to do with being cheap, I guess. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't consider myself cheap. I just don't have a lot of things I like to spend money on, but the things I do spend money on are hella expensive. My hobbies aren't cheap. Mm-hmm. But saving money on little things, like I always hear someone like, "Oh, my chair doesn't work. My office chair is not very good, or it's got a squeak in it. I'm going to get a new one." Dude, I've had the same chair. I don't even know how long. I think it's poking me in the butt. There's something broken down in here, and it's literally there's someone like poking me in the butt. I don't need to spend money on a good office chair, because I just stand up every 30 minutes and I stretch and do those things. What was something else? What was something else that I'm trying to remember? Oh, clothing. Speaking of my brother, guess where I get all my clothes from? Him. It's like he's my younger brother, but he gives me hand-me-downs, and it's because he at one point thought the most important thing, like it was all about clothing and shoes and how you looked and what you drove, and like he was in that when he was younger, he was in that kind of world. Yeah. And now that he's kind of moved on and he's the plant guy, he's just like me. He saves money, he drives the same vehicles forever. Yeah. And he's getting rid of all his clothing, like all this stuff that's taking up space he doesn't need anymore. He's not spending the money and he's making more money. So guess what's happening in Trent's little portfolio? It's growing dramatically faster. Yeah. So I don't spend money on clothes. Like this is a free t-shirt from Tom at Confluence. This is his Run for the Sun he does every summer. Right? Look at I just have to go talk to Tom and I'm his friend.
And you'll get more.
And I get free clothes.
You got another shirt for me? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And Trent gives me all his own clothes. And he's younger, which is like the pass it down stuff. The funny part about that though is he's taller than me, yet his inseam is shorter. So I can't wear pants. Like he gives me pants I can't wear, and they're not long enough. It's hilarious. So it's so weird. And he has like this super long torso. His arms are kind of short for his height.
Yeah.
I mean, he's about 6'2", he's not quite 6'2". He's probably about 6'2", a little taller than me. And his arms are short and his legs are shorter than mine. And it makes no sense. So like funny. All the shirts I can wear, because he's a bigger guy too. But the pants I can't. And I can't wear his, well, it depends on his shoe size. Is a little bit bigger than mine too. But so I just don't, my wife makes fun of me all the time about going to you need new clothing. It's got a hole in it. It's a pair of shorts. Yeah. Why? I don't need to look nice for most the real estate stuff occasionally, but even that's kind of out the window anymore. But construction.
Yeah, right.
No, I don't need to worry about that. Save your money for good stuff. And it's okay to be, frugal isn't a bad thing. But Coop knows there's the little luxuries, bro. A nice watch once in a while is okay. I don't even wear a watch. I have a phone.
Yeah.
But I'll save my money for other stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I like nice clothes. I don't really spend tons and tons of money on them, but I also have a profession where I, can't just wear
dress nicer than
I can't just wear t-shirts all the time. Yeah. So that's an important thing. But again, it's like that's my priority. I don't also spend money on like mountain bikes and toys like Shane does. So I guess you have to find
golf clubs.
Some of that. But anyway, it's all about priorities. What's important to you, what your goals are, what you're trying to do. So,
Yep.
I don't think there's any reason for people to be miserable and wear, things that aren't fitting and threadbare if they don't have to.
No, I mean, certainly when there's a point where you can't read the label and they're like, it's embarrassing. Like you can't go into the store because it's one of those like, sir, you're not really wearing a shirt now.
Yeah.
Or your wife doesn't want to go to dinner with you. It may be time to invest a couple things.
Probably where most of the guys are going to get their direction from, right?
Right.
Come on, babe, you're going to have to wear something nicer than this.
Yeah. This is a nice dinner. This is my nice clothes, my nice t-shirts.
It's my nice pair of work boots.
No. Hanes and Reebok from Sands. There's nothing wrong with Walmart, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Legit. It's all about the long term.
Yeah.
There'll be a day when you can invest in nice things and you don't need to do it right now. Yeah. You don't. Have a couple nice, listen, depending on what you're doing, you need to be presentable because appearance is part of the game no matter what you're doing, especially if you're doing real estate. I mean, Dr. Matt's patient's probably horrified he showed up the same way I dress most of the time. So he's got to have some nice things and a good pair of shoes for sure. Because we talk about how poor shoes are anymore.
People look at shoes.
But they've got to be beneficial to like your feet too, not just how they look, which good luck with that.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that when you were talking about your knees.
Yeah.
Why our knees are such crap. It's because we wear such
poor design
shoes. Yeah. Well, we wear such shitty shoes all the time that we never feel the ground and our knees don't get strong and our feet don't get strong. Anyway, we could talk about that forever, but
yeah, unbalanced. I mean, yeah, unbalanced doing bad things is where I did my damage, right? Definitely. Just I'm not positioned obviously in the right position and I'm sure it was wearing out over time, but and then doing bad things to create the injury and then not fixing them. I mean, that's
right. Well, that
all goes hand in hand.
Right. Right. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, man.
Yeah. So we were talking a little bit last time about water.
Oh, right. We want to discuss that.
Yeah. And I want to go out and do this little experiment that they did on that Netflix show with, what's Zac Efron.
Oh yeah.
Where all the different kinds of water, but I wanted to kind of pick your brain on that. And, like is there bad water out there that you can get in nature? I mean, obviously, you've got stuff that's in it that can be harmful, bacteria and such, but I'm talking about, we talk about, make sure the water's filtered and pure and all this other stuff. And really what that means is we've just sapped everything out of what we should be getting from water.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that we're not damaging our bodies, which is another thing that we laugh at all the time. It's like water was here way before chemicals.
Totally. Yeah.
So how are you surviving without the chemicals before? Asics? Dude, there's nothing wrong with Asics either.
Solid, man. Solid shoes.
They do wear out quicker though.
So, I mean, I think there's a few different layers here to look at with water, right? So you've got water that comes through the city processing things and the tap and all the different, all of that, the water treatment plants and things. And different parts of the country, different cities are going to have better or worse just with that straight away. Right.
Right.
They treat that water, right? I mean, they have to.
Yeah.
So you're going to get certain things in it. For example, one thing is chlorine. It's in there. You can smell it. You can smell it in water.
Oh yeah. And depending on where, even in our state, it's not as bad as other places that I've traveled, but
yeah,
you can smell it under the tap sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, since I moved into this new condo, the shower I have, I can smell a little bit of the chlorine in there.
Yeah, stronger,
which is interesting.
Newer building too, which I mean, that's going to be freer pipe, allows for more aroma. Yeah,
exactly. So, there's that aspect. There's they've done studies on different water supplies and found from like treatment, just in the tap and things, and found drugs like waste products from people. So, for example, like what's the most significant thing to me actually, or well, there's a lot of significant things, but one is they can find like birth control pill residues in the water, because what happens is the women are taking them, and then when they go to the bathroom, it comes out in their urine, and then that gets into the system, and then it's some of those residues stay in the water. They found residues of other pharmaceuticals like statin drugs and you can find a lot of these things in the water. Now, some of it's cleared out with some of the treatment, but not all of it. So that's really what's challenging about like city water. And then, some of the waters in the different places are just not good. They just don't do a very good job of that. Now, it is better than like third world countries, which have like,
right,
actual shit in the water.
Yeah.
Which gives, has its own problems, but it's still, so when we're talking about filtering water, I do think it's important, if you're going to be drinking city water, that you do filter that, because I think you're going to get out significant amount of the stuff that you don't need and just leave the water. I use a countertop reverse osmosis system that I really like. But reverse osmosis has its own problems, because and this is what you were saying earlier about what we pull also out of the water has to do with a lot of the minerals. If in a lot of those filtration systems. And so that can be problematic. So really, I mean, I love a reverse osmosis for getting stuff out. I think it's the best system to remove problems.
Agreed.
But you also have to put back into your system minerals if you're going to do that. And so
it's not why you're failing your drug test.
Your drink. I don't think there's enough in there to make you fail your drug test.
Yeah. No, definitely not. Here's the show I was talking about. So this one right here with Anna Kendrick is the water one.
Okay.
So if you guys want to go check this one out, this is the Netflix show. It's called Down to Earth with Zac Efron. There's Matt's boyfriend right here.
Look at those eyes.
Look at those eyes. Can you say no to that guy? Look at that. Wow. Just dreamy.
Just dreamy. Can look at Lost in those all day.
But this is the one that's talking about they sample waters from different places around the world. And it was the shocking thing to me was how different they looked and how different they literally taste. And they're talking about certain ones actually can actually do things to you that are, it was mind-boggling to me. Anyway, my sister-in-law went out and tried to buy all the different waters this is a water bar. That was a water bar they went to. And they like sampling wine. That's what they did. And the guy would bring out different one. They would swish it and sniff it and the whole deal. Like it was totally different. But my sister-in-law went out and bought, I think, almost all of them. And they did their own sampling going through like Whole Foods and a couple other places and tried them on it. Her mind was blown. And there's some of these waters I actually want to get and actually start drinking them.
Yeah. So, it is amazing the different places that have different water tastes and components in it. There's so much to talk about with this. It's so cool. Coop, I definitely want to talk about alkaline water too, because that's something that's a little bit there's a lot to talk about with that too. Let's definitely come back to that.
We'll leave it.
Yeah. So different places around the world have, the water comes obviously, there's the water cycle in the world, right? You've got the rain, you've got the snow, you've got the basins, you've got the aquifers, you've got the rivers, all of that. And it's the different waters are going to have different mineral contents in them. And that's actually really significant. And I think that's probably what some of the different tastes come from. And it's also what comes from some of those neurologic effects that people get, because, when you have water that actually has certain amounts of, mineralization in it, you're going to get a lot of benefit from that. What's really interesting about water is that when we look, I mean, the most of the world is most of the earth is water, right? But we can't go out and just drink gallon, cup after cup after cup of ocean water.
Right.
But when we look at our blood plasma and we look at things like the cerebral spinal fluid that surrounds our brain and our spinal cord, or even the amniotic fluid that babies are inside in the womb.
Yeah.
It's essentially ocean water, but diluted. So the ocean water.
So it's a salty environment in there too? Yeah. Oh, I didn't even know that.
Well, the human body is at about, I mean, we know this from like doing salinity studies. We know that it's basically they say 0.9. So if you go and you get like a IV saline drip, which they would give you if you were in the hospital, hungover or whatever,
right.
It is essentially 0.9, and that matches your body's balance. The ocean is at about 3.3. So it's about a little over 3 times as salty as, or not, and salt is it's not just sodium, right? It's like all the minerals, right? So, but isn't that fascinating that really like all the ocean and our cells in the environment of our body have a lot of similarities. It's just more concentrated in the ocean.
Right.
And so the idea kind of, when you look back on it, was evolutionarily, we emerged out of the ocean. Life emerged from the ocean. And so at some level, we brought the ocean with us because the ocean provided life, what it needs, and it still does. So probably the ocean was much less salty then. I don't know. I mean, the salinity was different. But anyway, so I just think that's fascinating, right? Like the amount of mineralization that's there, all the elements of the periodic table are essentially in the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And in our body, obviously, as well.
Right.
So one of the things that I do to rehydrate myself, because remember, hydration is not just water, it's also all the minerals.
Which people don't understand.
You could drink you can drink tons of water and you could still be dehydrated.
You're not hydrated, especially the filtered water that we usually get into.
Exactly. And especially like reverse osmosis filtered water.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a product that I use that comes from, it comes out of Europe. And it's called Quinton water, Quinton. And it comes, they've harvested off the coast of Spain for about 100 since like 1895 or something like that. It's been around for a long time. And you take it in about 10 milliliter doses, which is like 2 teaspoons. So not a lot. You don't need very much, and you can either do it at straight concentration of the ocean water, 3.3, or you can do it at 0.9. It's because they dilute it with spring water also. So you can have both. And it's a really fantastic way to get more of those minerals in. And especially since I drink is that their website? Yeah. Looks good. I think that's it.
Quicksilver comes up 5 times before I could find that one.
Well, Quicksilver is the distributor for it. That's
right.
Why.
Wow.
Biotech Labs. That's an interesting one. Yeah. Yeah. That's what it looks like. If you go back up to those little vials there, it comes in little vials. It also comes in little, there you go. That's it. Yeah, that's it.
There you go.
So anyway, it's and I know there's some football clubs in England that use it.
Yeah. Drink ocean water. Like Dr. Matt has these little, like you break if I remember, you like kind of, are they glass? Because you break it, right, to drink it?
They have a few different forms. Yeah, they have these little glass vials, these little ampules as well. But it's not very much, right? Like we're talking like 2 teaspoons.
Right.
10 milliliters. It's all we're talking about here. We're not talking about going and getting cups of it. I mean, that's going to totally mess your system up. But they also dilute it, right, to the body's natural salinity so you're gonna, it reminds me, I always laugh, Shane, with this because I always think of Dr. Wuth in our biology class. Right? So he was our biology teacher in high school, and he would always tell everyone every Friday, he would tell us to stay isotonic.
Stay isotonic.
Which basically meant don't get drunk over the weekend, because when you drink a lot, you screw up your electrolyte balance. And that's basically what he would always joke around like that.
And then he'd ask you on Monday, are you hypertonic or hypotonic?
Is everybody, did everybody stay balanced? Right. So, I always laugh about that. But again, we're talking about our salinity, our body's hydration, our mineralization levels. So much better for us than some of these other, Gatorades and other garbage, which don't really hydrate you. Not like they say. So
talk about that alkaline that Coop was talking about.
Right. Yeah. So alkaline water is an interesting idea. Your body has various compartments in it that are various pHs. So one example is your stomach is a ridiculously low acidity or low pH, very acidic, very, very acidic. And the other parts of your body are going to have other sort of pHs. And so it's, when you're talking about affecting your overall pH just from drinking water, it's not really happening the way you think it is. And I know there's a lot of good marketing around there. One thing I learned that kind of made sense to me around this idea was, if you light a match and you measure right at that match what the temperature is, it's going to be ridiculously hot, right?
Right.
Because it's burning.
Yeah.
But you can't take that match and make it warm up a room. It's, it's not going to happen. And that's kind of like what happens when you drink alkaline water. Is it necessarily bad for you? No. But is it going to alkalinize your whole body? It's not. It's going to alkalinize probably your stomach, which isn't really the best thing in the world to do, in my opinion. Now, I will say that a lot of the alkaline waters are probably better. They're somewhat filtered, so they're going to have a lot of the stuff taken out of it. So that's good. But yeah, I think there's just a lot of hype to it. I don't think it's necessary.
It's more like a hype deal. It's like what do they call that?
Yeah.
It's a meme water, bro.
A little bit. I mean, I could see some arguments for it, but to be honest with you, I would, my preference for people, if they really, it would be, if you want to buy water, I would get spring water.
Definitely.
And if you want to filter your water, I would do reverse osmosis and then have some sort of mineralization plan.
My boy Jake was trying to send me some of those reverse osmosis, like single fixture products.
Yeah.
And apparently he had the authorities show up at his door once he mailed them off to me.
What? Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Huh, okay.
So there's your government in action. Maybe I'll drive out and pick them up from him.
Right. Crazy.
He's got some. Yeah, I'd like to put one into my mom's house actually too.
Right. Well, it's one of the reasons I really like. So I do have a good link. I should get that to you. Maybe we could pop it in here for the water filter I like. Reverse osmosis wastes a lot of water is the other thing. In order to actually do the reverse osmosis, you use water to do it. It's kind of hard to explain. But
it does. The whole house systems are way better. I mean, I always tell people that. If you want to do that, then you want to do a whole house system where it has it's basically an alternative run through where that water's not technically getting wasted. It's just getting recycled back into another application.
Perfect. Yeah, you can use it in your toilet or whatever.
Right. Under the sink ones definitely use a lot of water.
People don't realize it too. I had one in my old house. And you've got this tank under your sink and it fills up with reverse osmosis with drinking water, but you don't see the water that leaves, that is waste. It's not really wastewater. I mean, it kind of is. You can't really drink it. But you don't see it. And I think it's something ridiculous on some of those systems, like 5-to-1, it's insane the amount of water that you don't even get.
It's a lot.
But one thing I like about the little countertop thing that I have is it's really minimal amount of water it takes to actually generate the water that you drink, and it's pretty remarkable. So yeah, I should see if I could find that, or we could maybe next time we could
put it up there. Yeah. Coop, though, I know, man. Go watch that show. So the best thing about that Netflix show, I thought, is what they talk about is the way companies around the world, especially in the US, how they product the water.
Oh yeah.
And how many companies literally are just filling up bottles under a sink and selling. I'm dead serious. They just bottle them up. They're in a factory, turn on the faucet, and it's just like going through that whole system, and they bottle them up.
One of the most kind of evil companies out there is Nestle around water.
Yeah.
And they've literally bought up all these water rights in different places. I don't even know if they bought them, but they actually have these like weird contracts or these weird permits or different things. And they can go in and like, there's some places in like Oregon that they're like, just like, have exclusive water harvesting privileges. And it's crazy. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of why I lean towards some of these filters, because, people have access to, the tap water, obviously. And but we just got to make it better for people. So,
and not take so much out of the water that it's useless to drink it. I mean, sometimes it's better to drink Gatorade than it is to drink the purified water, because there's nothing left. It's just wet.
Yeah.
I mean,
drink
your own pee-pee at that point. I don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean, there are a lot of other water filters out there, the Britas and things like that,
Yeah. The Paris episode, that's what I'm talking about. The France one. That's what we're talking about right now. Yes. That's it right there with your girlfriend, Anna Kendrick. Yep. Actually, it's Dr. Matt's girlfriend. I take that back. Sorry about that.
You know that. But yeah, and I think, it's a matter of finding what's going to work in your environment where you are, like Shane, it makes sense for you to like do the whole house thing, because you've got, your kids and you got all of that. For me, I don't have all that, so it's why the countertop thing works great for me.
Right.
But the other filters, like the Britas and I don't know, there's all kinds of different ones out there. I mean, they're decent. They'll get some stuff out of the water. So if that's what you can do for the moment, I would something rather than just drink tap water. Personally.
Yeah. So, yeah, Wolf, I don't know. I forget where you live, man. I apologize. But if it's not Colorado, I'll tell you, probably don't drink out of the tap.
Did you ever go to...
I wouldn't.
Yeah, Florida. I remember going to Sarasota, and the water in Sarasota, Florida, it's like known for causing constipation, which cracks me up. Like,
so you could go to Florida, and then you could go right down through the Gulf there and hit up Mexico and fix that really fast. Right, drinking their water.
Exactly, right. Isn't that funny? Like, this whole water is just like known for giving people constipation.
If you don't want to poop anymore, you drink their water.
I don't know what it is. It tasted terrible. Oh my God. Yeah, that was funny. That was really funny. But
constipation, water. Who would thought? Britas are okay, but I think the one thing with like the Brita systems is people don't change their filters
I was just enough. Gonna say that. Yeah, you gotta stay on top of that if you're gonna do the Britas.
More even than recommended. So not that I've been good at that either, but we have a filter in our fridge. And you go off of when the fridge tells you to switch it, but I think we should probably be switching it before then.
Yeah.
And those are different than the Britas, but still, I don't know, man. I'd rather just go get those waters from the stores and have a different water each day.
Yeah. I mean, in Colorado, we're pretty fortunate. There's a couple of really cool companies that make some really good water, or, have good water to deliver and things like that. If that's the route you wanted to go, but and I know you can find it in other places too, but
that one on the sink Coop you're talking about, that's just a filtration system for your tap water. It's just an extra filter. They're just the under the sink ones, and what that does is just collecting any extra debris from that. So those filters, the Target ones, I don't even know if they even have the electromagnetic filter on them or not. But it's not reverse osmosis.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a filtered system, which it's not a bad thing to have that. But again, same deal. You got to be on top of changing those filters out. That one, I mean, the ones I'm trying to remember at Target, they're probably every like 1 to 2 months you want to change that filter out. Otherwise, it's probably doing more harm than good. So you just got to be aware of that. Chicago, don't drink under the faucet then. Ugh.
Yeah.
Don't do it, man.
Well, and you know, really too, remember like the other thing that I do a lot of work with is, you know, people with heavy metal issues and mercury and lead, and in the water system, lead is pretty significant. I mean, if you remember all that stuff going on like Detroit and things like that, you know,
yep.
Lead that was a whole fiasco, but still is.
It's still bad.
Yeah, it's still really bad. And that's a whole infrastructure conversation and things like that, right? But you know, people are getting lead poisoning and things from water that's not filtered properly. And
yep,
that's really, really, really shitty. But so yeah, I that's why I'm a proponent of people drinking as clean water as you possibly can. You know, and if you know, we are better off than most of the world. So if tap water is all you can do, you're better off for the most part. But yeah, that's the one that I use.
This one's a good for like just a single fixture.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the best ones I've found on the market.
Yeah. That's the one. Yeah. I've got a good, I've got a link. People, speaking of passive income, if anyone wants to,
hey man,
hook me up with a little affiliate love. Yeah, I got a link for that. I can throw it that way. But yeah, it's a nice one. It really does the job well. So it's funny, that particular model is advocated by this guy named Robert Slovak. And Robert Slovak is I don't know if it's on my website. It should be.
Well, go to his website anyway.
Yeah, there's my website. Robert Slovak is the guy who he and his brother invented reverse osmosis.
Okay.
And this is the one, he didn't invent this, but he connected with the guy that did, and now this is the one he uses. So the guy that invented the reverse osmosis uses this one.
Yeah, these are pretty good. But like I was saying, if you can have, and you do have the ability to do a whole house system, that's the way to go.
Definitely.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely. And the other thing that what's nice about the whole house system is your showers, your baths, everything will be filtered. And that's what I'm frustrated by right now, because I can smell the chlorine in my water when I take a shower.
Oh yeah, that's like that's the easiest place to smell them.
So I know. So I have to get like I got to figure out a shower filter if I don't want to get tons of. I just have way too much damn chlorine exposure in my life because I was a swimmer. So
yeah, you swam for too long.
I'm pretty sensitive to.
That's the other thing Matt will tell you is don't drink the pool water.
Drank way too much of that. Not intentionally always, but sometimes. No. So yeah. Cool. Yeah, it's a good conversation about water for sure. And there's one other really kind of funny thing, if people really want to look it up, that I've been learning some more about. I don't even know if I've talked to you about this, Shane, but there's this. Have you ever heard of deuterium? Have you ever heard of that?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So deuterium is an isotope of hydrogen. And it's like heavy. So if you make, water is H2O, right? 2 hydrogens, 1 oxygen. But if you have water that has deuterium used as the hydrogen, it's heavier water. And there's some research, and actually I think UCLA is doing the research on it, but it's mostly been done in like Russia. And how this deuterium water is kind of not as good for us. And the places around the world that we see the less deuterium in the water, and that's where you see a lot of like this, the runoff from glaciers and things like that, have much lower deuterium in it. And we're not talking about, we're talking about tiny amounts of deuterium anyway, but So there's all this stuff coming out, and it's sort of a bigger conversation, but it's interesting that, when we're talking about water, that maybe what they found at some of these waters from around the world is they actually were lower in deuterium. And there's some interesting studies around people's longevity and health issues, about how much deuterium is in there. So drinking deuterium depleted water actually, for many people, helps with a lot of different health issues.
Yeah. And I think they were talking about that in that episode too.
Were they?
A couple of the waters had deuterium depleted.
Or deuterium depleted, yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's a big, huge chemistry project to pull deuterium out of water. And they have these, I don't even really understand it fully, but they have these big, like towers that the water moves through. And it's why I guess they do it in Russia. And there is water you can buy that is deuterium depleted. It's super expensive though, to drink. And
yeah, I bet.
I don't know. At some point, maybe the cost will come down as they bring it in they start doing it in the States. But
once they get over making money off of it.
Right. Well, I think, I think it's going to start to happen at some point because there's some benefit to it, I think. But I think Colorado, we actually have some somewhat deuterium depleted water just from where we are. But some places it's more deuterium than others. So anyway, I think that's where some of those better water tastes and other benefits and other things also are part of too. So
does that answer your question too, Yi? I hope so. That's what it does. It's non-depleting the water, basically, is what it's doing. It's taking out all the man-made gunk, but it's basically it's creating a healthier water on the other side. To put it in layman's terms, it's re-energizing the water without all of the chemicals that we have dumped into. Yeah. And the funny part about all that is the reason we're dumping most of those chemicals in the water is because we're allowing other things to be dumped in the water before it gets to us. And so we have to treat the water because we're not cleaning up on the front end. So on the back end, we got to clean it even more, which is more chemicals, which are bad and harmful for us. And here we are manipulating nature once again. So, the $400 filter or the system, that's just for like one fixture. So that's like if you want to have one in your kitchen sink, you can.
It's a countertop unit.
Yeah, that's one cool. That would just do one faucet.
No, it doesn't even go on a faucet. It actually has a reservoir on the back that you fill up with tap water.
Well, yeah, that one right. That one does. Yeah.
That one does. Yeah. The other ones, there are ones that are more connected to your faucet. Yeah.
There's ones you can hook up and then it'll actually skips a step basically and runs through that. But yeah, the one that I pulled up, you're right, is the one that has its own little reservoir.
Yeah. Yep. It's cool.
It takes water down into it and then does the RO system from there. Mm-hmm. So it's not it's not hooked up to the entire house. It's just like it's a economic way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we're talking, I'm trying to remember. I haven't even. It's probably $8 to $10,000.
I was gonna say
to do a whole house. Yeah.
Yeah.
To set it all up, and there's stuff out there like there's with solar, as far as financial options, and there's some kickbacks there too. But
is there? That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and mostly, unfortunately, at this point, there's not a whole lot you can do on the like the retrofit side as far as getting any of the benefit back. The new homes, if you sign up with like a production builder to do one of those, because it's another way they sell product. Again, another income stream. These guys that are doing these RO systems, they hook up with production builders. It's just another way they can get in the door, and then the production builder gets a kickback from selling the system, but then they have all this capital behind where they can push money back to the end homeowner.
Yeah.
So there's benefit there, but yeah. I haven't seen the one at Lowe's. I don't know. They're everywhere. Mm-hmm. I just want to look at the RO systems. If I get a couple extra from our homie, then I will, I might have to drive them out to you so I don't get arrested either.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, no, that's a great way to drink water. I think more and more homes need to have those in general. Especially now,
isn't it?
It's so unfortunate. It's stupid that we're doing that, because I can literally go backpacking and take my little backpack filter, go right down to the creek, and get me some
such good water too.
Snow runoff. Oh, it tastes amazing. Amazing.
Crisp, cold water.
Yeah.
Yeah, pull out the Giardia and then you're all good, right?
Well, at least you don't get constipated.
Oh my God. Yeah. But to your point, I mean, it's just such easy, good, clean water for the, outside of the, infections you can get from it. But you can filter that. And those filters, the backpacking filters are really good for that. So.
They're great for that stuff. Yeah. Yep. They get all the, they won't get to a lot of the chemical stuff, but they'll get all of the bacteria and all that stuff out of there.
Protozoa and all that stuff.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, you don't know gross. So you've seen someone get Giardia, or your dog. My dog used to get it every single year, and we were not to get too graphic, we were cleaning off the walls, man.
And smells so bad.
Oh, it was horrible.
That's just bad.
Gas for a week, and you had to open the windows and doors and put her outside, and it was like, get out of here. Ugh, it was terrible.
Don't ever drink unfiltered mountain water.
No, no, bad idea. Don't do it. Get a filter.
Just not worth the risk.
Yeah, no good. No good. Well, that I'm glad we got to talk about that, because that was something I actually want to talk about. And I definitely I will go do this little. I'll get with my sister-in-law too and see which one she was able to purchase as far as the waters.
Yeah.
And then I'll do my little taste test, and I can report back at some point, because
I remember going through Iceland on a flight to Europe and picked up some of the Icelandic water.
Oh yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a cool place to go. That's on my bucket list. Yeah, that's on my bucket list.
Oh, cool.
Well, Dr. Matt,
doing this for an hour. Should we
let's wrap her up.
One of the things that we talked about, or we briefly chatted about, was sharing like one or two or three things to take with you at the end of this. Like takeaways. So what do you got, man, for building wealth?
I will tell you guys, as your homework, is to find one income stream that you're not doing right now and get it started. And it doesn't have to be another business like we were talking about. You want to get one income stream going. And this goal, I would say, if you can create it where you can make money off of it by the end of the year, like, not substantial income, but it's another income stream to replace something. Even if it's just $150 a month to put into your long-term portfolio for your stock portfolio, that's a hell of a start, because now you're making money that's passive. You can go do other things, because it's all about freeing up your time. And then that money goes into making more money. Right. So it's just tiers yourself up. So go start another income stream and make it create money for you by the end of the year. You want to be in the black by the end of the year. You easily could do it in the next couple of months, but that's the goal. So there's your homework for me.
Nice. Yeah, cool. My suggestion would be get at least 20 to 30 minutes of unfiltered sunlight every day.
Yep.
And by unfiltered, I mean not through a window, not slathered in sunscreen. If you do it, particularly from the early hours of maybe 8:30 to 10:30, you're really at low risk of getting sunburns and things like that. And you'll get so much benefit for your well-being, your hormones, your vitamin D levels, all kinds of things like that. So, gosh, there's so many things we could talk about with getting sun exposure. So it doesn't have to be a lot, 20 minutes. You make, like today, I did a 30-minute session, and I made, I have an app called D-Minder, which is a cool app. You guys should check that out. We could talk about that more too. But I made about 6,000 units of vitamin D just in.
Actually, it's funny you say that. Yeah. Get some sun on those nanas, brother.
Yeah, man.
Trust me, all of it.
As much skin exposure as you can possibly do. I would.
If you want it, just don't let them catch on fire.
Yeah.
But do it.
And don't get arrested for indecent exposure. But
a notary license. To be a notary is someone that, and I know Coop knows this too, but it's basically a witness and authorizing that you're the person signing a bunch of documents that need wet signatures. I'm not a notary, but I know plenty of them because I need to do it all the time. Any title company can do it for you. And if you go to any banks, the bank that you belong to, just walk in and ask for a notary for whatever you need to have signed. I don't know what is you're looking to do, but that's those are the easiest ways to get that thing done. I have too many access points. I don't need another license. I got enough paper to deal with. But yeah, do that after you tan your nanas though.
There you go.
Yeah. Because the bank doesn't open until 9 anyway.
That's right. You got half an hour.
Go get that done. So 20 to 30 minutes of sun, income stream, profitable, like turning over money for you to put into something else by the end of the year. It is. Coop might even be notary. I don't know, but you have to do it in person. They have to see, they have to take a log and admit that it's you. Van Beezy, what up? What up? All right, guys. I am going to thank Dr. Matt and all you guys for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thanks,
another episode in the books. Come with some questions like you did today for next time. Every Wednesday. I think we can do it at 5 next time.
Yeah.
Try to do a little earlier. I know everybody's got stuff to do later in the evenings. But yeah, that's a wrap on this episode of Building Wealth and Health. I'm not going to go tan my nanas now because the sun's going down, but I definitely got my sun exposure today. I'm happy about it. And I'm going to work on my income streams the rest of the evening. I'm going to let Dr. Matt do the same. You guys have a good evening. And we'll see you next Wednesday.
We'll do it again.
Don't forget the thumb on the way out. Appreciate you guys.
Yep.
Later.